What is this? So what happened was I recorded this previously and my audio software decided to just crash. So I did this entire chapter, well, this part, and it decided not to record any of my audio. Yay! So, just to let you know, this next chapter, I kind of already know what happens, but that's fine. You know, it hasn't been a good week. I don't really remember too much. It'll start coming to me as we play this. So this is going to be the one part. It's not really blind. I hope that's okay. Luckily, I did save, so we didn't... I'm not like, I have to play through the whole thing. So we're just gonna play over. Okay, so let's go ahead. And hopefully the audio sounds good now. Wait. I think it should. We worked all through the afternoon. Natsu had made plans with friends, so he left earlier on. We just kept working and managed to make quite a dent in our workload.
僕、Minobe先輩に謝らなきゃいけないです。
Wonder if that's too loud. I might turn it down a tad. There we go. Minami, I owe you an apology.
何が?
For what? Initially, I assumed that she was kind of lazy from her general demeanor. But the past few days has proven me wrong. She was always proactively carrying out the club's activities. She really was an ideal president. She was fun to hang around, to boot.
先輩のこと、改めて尊敬しました。
I've come to respect you all over again.
やっぱり社長コブに入ってよかったと思います。
I really am glad I joined the LCSC.
私も最初は先輩のこと誤解してました。
It was the same for me. I had the totally wrong idea about her when we first met.
でも先輩はいつも暗くなるまで部室でたった一人でも仕事をしてる。
But she's always working there until dark every single day, even by herself if she has to.
もう帰ってもすることとかないしね。
I mean, it's not like I've got anything to do back home.
家帰っても親が勉強しろしろうるさいだけだし。
My mom just nags me to study when I'm there. She tried laughing off, but I wasn't fooled anymore. No, you could say that her very essence. The same went for training. It's easy to work yourself hard until it shows on your face. With her, she just relaxed and had fun, no matter what she did.
僕も見習わなくちゃ。
I could learn a thing or two from you.
そういえばスズムンって空手をやってんだって？
By the way, you do karate, right, Suzumu?
やってますやってます。毎日夕方には道着を着て裏庭で稽古してますよ。
Uh-huh, he sure does. He puts on his dojo uniform and practices in the backyard every evening.
へえ、何それかっこいい。
Wow, that's so cool.
ねえねえ、あのさ。
Can I ask you something? Minobe walked ahead of us, then turned around and spoke.
おいらもスズムンのかっこいいとこ見てみたいな。
I'd like to see Suzumu showing off, too. It was a common misunderstanding, but the Suzuhara Divine Tribute style wasn't for fighting. Its primary goal was to sublimate a pure heart cultivated in training through martial arts, then dedicate that to God. Oh.
な のにクロッチに汚れてるとか言われちゃショックだよね。
Boy, it must have stung to have Kuroki call you corrupted.
僕の修行がまだ未熟だからだと思います。
I guess that means my training's still got a long way to go. Yeah, if you remember last time, the girl that looks like a doll wasn't too happy with us. I mean, she usually isn't.
先輩、麦茶入れてきました。
Minobe, the tea's ready. I apologize if her voice sounds different. I usually record in the mornings, and I can't do that. Because of it, I have to do it late at night, so I'm trying to be a little quieter for people, for the most part. I wanted to be like my father and hold martial arts demonstrations at temples and shrines someday. Any corruption had to be purged before that was possible. I had to free myself from obstructive thoughts and hone my spirit. The apartment complex's backyard is my training ground. I channeled all my spirit to my fists, and I punched a cherry blossom tree with straw wrapped around it. I was a bit sluggish today. I really did have a long way to go if Minobe's presence was enough to dull my fist.
すごいね。よく素手で木をパンチして痛くないもんだね。
Amazing! I'm surprised you can punch a tree like that without hurting your hand.
砂を詰めたバケツをパンチしてることもありますよ。
He's also punched loads and loads of buckets full of sand.
スズムンかっこいい。
Fuck.
おいら惚れちゃいそうだ。
You're so cool, Suzumu. I think I might be falling for you.
集中集中。
Focus, focus. Yeah! Whoa. I trained to the bone until the sky turned indigo. Then I took a shower and had dinner. Kiko's mom always cooked our evening meals. I took my shower and I went to room 101, only to find Minobe there as well.
おお、スズム。シャンプーの香りでめっちゃフェロモン出てる。
Hey, Suzumu, that shampoo smells heavenly.
お母さんが夕飯を一緒にどうって言ってくれたの。
I asked my mom if she could have dinner with us.
おいら畳の上で家族ご飯食べるの割と憧れだったんだ。
I've always wanted to have a nice family dinner on the table.
僕も一人っ子だから賑やかなご飯はすごく楽しいです。
I'm an only child, so the more the merrier.
つばきこ配膳手伝って。
Tsubakiko, help me set the table. Coming.
すずむくん、テレビのリモコンを取ってもらっていいかい？
Suzumu, can you get the TV remote?
はい、どうぞ。
Sure thing, here you go.
ミノベさんは野球とか見る？
Do you watch baseball, Minobe?
あーいや、見たことないです。
No. Can't say that I have before. Who has never seen baseball? That's strange.
じゃあ一緒に見ようか。楽しいぞ。
Then let's watch together. It'll be fun.
はーい、お待たせだよ。
Thanks for waiting.
はい、先輩。どうぞ。
Here you go, Minobe.
うん、ありがとう。
Oh, thank you. Everyone sat together and began eating. We were having somen and tempura for dinner. Just seeing the ice cubes float atop the soup in our glass bowls was enough to cool us down. I don't know how people... So soup or noodles or anything like that, I have to have them warm. I can't imagine what that's like to be cold. That just sounds so gross to me. Though it wasn't quite summer yet, the days had been hot and sweaty, so this is the perfect dish.
すごい。そうめんってこんなに美味しかったんだ。
Amazing! I never knew somen could be so tasty.
氷が入って冷えてるだけでこんなにも美味しくなるんだね。
Who knew that cooling it off with ice was the key?
先輩の家のおそうめんって違うんですか？
Your family makes somen differently?
オイラの家のは茹でたのに流水をかけただけのぬるいのが出てくるよ。
We boil it, but we use running water, so it never comes out hot or cold.
すぐベタベタになってくっついて塊になっちゃって食べづらいし美味しくないし。
It quickly becomes a sticky lump that's hard to eat. It doesn't taste good at all.
嫌いだったはずなのに
So normally, I don't like it.
こんなに美味しいなんて知らなかったな。
But I never knew it could be this good. Minobe lowered her head a little sadly. Oh. But she was back to her usual cheerful self by the time she raised her head. Hey. Afterwards, we all watched with excitement as the baseball game kept going back and forth. It was completely dark outside, but we kept on spending time like a happy family. Having been invited to take a bath, Minobe went to Kiko's apartment for a shower.
先輩、今日は私のとこにお泊まりしてくことになってるの。
Minobe, will you be staying at my place tonight?
そうだったんだ。
I see.
キコちゃんと先輩はやっぱり仲良しだったんだね。
The two of you really are close, huh?
うん。フレンドだよ。
The very, very best of friends.
じゃあすずむ、おやすみ。
Good night, Suzumu.
おやすみ。また明日。
Good night. See you tomorrow. We didn't really do anything all that special, but had been a fun day. I basked in those memories as I soaked in the bath.
社長コブに入って本当に良かったな。
I really am glad I joined the LCSC.
キコちゃんやナツくんとも一緒だし、ミノベ先輩は面白くて尊敬できる人だし。
I've got Kiko and Natsu with me, and Minobe's so funny and admirable. And though she may not have liked me at the moment, I hoped Kurokami and I could be friends someday.
楽しいな、毎日が。
Every day has been so much fun since then.
こんな生活の機会をくれた両親にも
I have
感
to
謝し
think
なくちゃ。
I have to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to live like this. He doesn't remember anything that happened, I assume. There's no way. I had to reflect more carefully on how blessed I was that I could say that. Minobe had said it herself at yesterday's fundraiser.
両親に感謝できるってこと自体、幸運にたくさん恵まれてたと自覚するべきだろうね。
The fact you have parents to thank should make you realize just how lucky you are.
もっと先輩と話したいな。
I wish I could talk with Minobe some more. She's probably lying around Kiko's room chatting. If I were a girl, I could have joined in on their conversations, but alas, I have a penis.
いいさ。社長コブでこれからもおしゃべりする機会はたくさんあるさ。
It's fine. We'll have plenty of chance to talk at the LCSC.
寝よう。
It's all sleep. Why are you talking to yourself? Only one of us can do that right now. Oh. Did I just hear something? Knock. Huh? Knocking. Realizing that the knocking signified a visitor, it's usually what it means, I sat up, eyes still clouded with sleep. I ran over the door and opened it, very careless, in hindsight. But since I was still half asleep, I had a hard time telling if this was a dream or not. So when I opened the door and saw the sight that awaited me, I was convinced I was still dreaming. I should have seen the same old scenery outside. But instead, I was faced with a wondrous world, the likes of which I'd never seen before.
起こしちゃってごめん。
Sorry for waking you all.
ミノベ先輩。
Minobe? She wore a blue dress. Meanwhile, I realized I was in my school uniform instead of my night clothes. You're in a strange world where giant mushrooms with polka dots and star patterns upon them grew. I turned around only to discover even my place had become part of this bizarre land. It changed into a room from a cabin straight out of a fairy tale.
これお
What is this?
ああ、ごめんね。深く考えないで。
Oh, sorry. Don't look too deep into it.
夢の続きだと思って。明日になったらさっぱり忘れてるから。
Just consider this a continuation of a dream. You'll forget this ever happened by morning. Will I?
夢の中の人にこれは夢だって言われるのは初めてです。
This is the first time some of my dreams had admitted that it is one.
まあ、ここではこっちが現実で、向こうこそが夢なわけだけど。
Well, to me, this is reality, and the other world is a dream.
難しいことは考えなくていいよ。
Just don't think too hard, okay? Minobe laughed as she went inside. Just then, a cloth rabbit walking on its hind legs followed her. It was like something from a picture book.
おお、あなたがムーンスートの王子様。
Oh, you're the Prince of Moonsuit.
お会いできて光栄だよ。
It's an honor. The talking rabbit reached out for a handshake. Yep, this had to be a dream.
そうそう。王子様は深く考えなくていいの。
That's right. Don't look too deeply into this, Your Highness.
夢の中だと思ってた方がきっと楽だと思うから。
Things will go easier if you think of this as a dream.
王子様って僕のことですか？
By Your Highness, you mean me?
そう。私はここではお姫様。不思議の国のエリス姫。
Yep, here, I'm a princess. Princess Alice of Wonderland. Alice? I feel like I heard that name from Minobe yesterday. As I stood in blank amazement, several rabbits walked right past me. Carrying tea sets, they all set the table one after the next.
エリス、準備ができたよ。
Alice, everything's ready.
ありがとう。じゃあね。
Great, thanks. Later.
ごゆっくり。全体進め。
Yeah, have a good time. Move out, guys. Tea, pancakes, and beautiful silverware lined the table. The rabbits marched out en masse once they finished setting up. They shut the door, leaving Minobe and I alone in a room rich with the fragrance of tea. Ugh, I hate tea.
召し上がれ。まったりしよう。
Go on, help yourself. Kick back a little.
はい。
Okay.
ほらほら、どうせ夢なんだから考えたら負けだって。
Go on, it's all just a dream anyway, so there's no point in dwelling on it.
夢の中で夢って諭されるなんてやっぱりちょっとおかしいです。
It's kind of funny being scolded in a dream. My body eased a little once I accepted what I was seeing as untrue. My senses still weren't fully in tune with it all, but I decided to accept Minobe's suggestion. I chose to sit in one of the cute fairy tale-esque chairs and have some tea. Minobe lifted the teacup, then traced the saucer with a lonely smile.
今日のさ、お夕飯のそうめん。
Remember that salmon we had for dinner?
一番驚いたのは氷が入ってたからとかじゃないんだよね。
It wasn't the ice that surprised me the most about it.
うちお母さんが家事とかめんどくさがるたちでさ、お皿洗いたくないからって。
My mom finds chores to be a pain, so she doesn't want to wash plates.
お皿はみんな紙皿を使うんだ。
That means all our plates are paper.
洗わないで捨てればいいから確かに手間はかからないですね。
You can't just throw them out without washing them, so it's true they save time. I mean, yeah, but...
紙皿ってさ、紙の味が移るから嫌いなんだよね。
It's just, you see, they make the food taste like paper, so I hate them.
それに料理によってはベタベタと張り付いちゃって、
And if the food's sticky, it gets stuck to the plate.
お箸で取ると 紙皿の表面の紙が張り付いちゃうんだよ。
So when you pick it up with chopsticks, you get bits of paper stuck onto it.
最初の頃は律儀にその紙を剥がしてたけど、
At first, I used to tear that paper off, every last scrap.
だんだんめんどくさくなってきて、そのうちちぎれた紙が張り付いたままで口に運ぶようになって、
But I found it a pain, so eventually, I just started eating while leaving the scraps on.
だんだん何を食べてもみんな同じ紙の味に感じるようになってきちゃってさ。
And in the end, I started tasting paper in everything I ate.
だからあんな綺麗なガラスの器で美味しいそうめんを食べたのって
So it'd been so long.
本当に久しぶりで、
Since I last had such a delicious salmon in such a beautiful glass bowl.
久しぶりで。
Oh, so long. Though Minobe was smiling, there were tears in her eyes.
先輩
Minobe?
嫌だった。紙が張り付いたままのおかずを食べるのに慣れてる自分が。
I hate it. I hate that I just got used to eating paper in my food.
お母さんのめんどくさがり屋なとこ嫌いなくせに。
Even though I hate how lazy my mother is.
私もお母さんと変わらない。めんどくさがり屋なんだなって。
I've turned out just like her.
先輩はめんどくさがり屋なんかじゃないです。
I don't think you're lazy at all.
そうかな。
You really think so?
僕は今日まで先輩の様々なことを見てきました。
I've seen so many sides of you by now.
めんどくさがり屋なんてとんでもない。
And let me tell you, you're far from lazy.
先輩は誰よりも真面目にコツコツと積み上げる努力家です。
I've never seen anyone as dedicated as you.
もしも先輩に気の毒なことがあったとしたら、
And I think the saddest thing here
誰よりも努力家であることを褒めてもらえなかったことだと思います。
is that nobody's ever praised you for how hard you work. Oh, dear.
進む。
Oh, I smile now. Seaweed. Oh, boy. I brought my chair over to Minobe and let her rest her head on my shoulder. This was the only way I can convey my feelings. Come to think of it, I called her by her last name. That was supposed to be my way of showing her due respect, but perhaps it sounded like I viewed her as a stranger. Looking at her over my shoulder drove home just how tiny she was. She was so dainty that I probably would have thought she was younger than me if we'd met under different circumstances. After all, I'd already misread her by her laid-back attitude at first, hadn't I?
僕に力になれることがあったら何でも言ってください。
Water, hold on. If there's anything I can do to help, please don't hesitate to ask.
いつでもどんな時でも必ず力になりますから。
I swear I'll be there for you whenever you need me.
嬉しいな。その言葉だけでもすっごい救われる。
Thank you. Just hearing that takes a load off my back. She perched her head against my shoulder. This guy has some riz. Just say. Though she sounded happy, I could hear her sniffle. All her face was hidden, and I couldn't read her mind. My heart ached for the burden she was carrying day after day. Eating all that paper.
やっぱりスズムンは王子様だね。
You really are Prince Suzumoon.
ここって以前話してくれた不思議の国なんですよね。
This is that Wonderland you told me about, isn't it?
ここではミノベカナエじゃなくてエリスだって言ってましたよね。
Here, you're not Kanai, Minobe, but Ellis. That's what you told me.
そう。不思議の国のエリス姫なんだ。
Right, I'm Princess Alice of Wonderland.
じゃあここでは僕が王子様でもいいんだ。
And I suppose I can be a prince here.
だってここは不思議の国という向こうとは違うもう一つの現実なんだから。
After all, Wonderland is its own separate reality.
本当にいいの？
Huh? Are you really okay with that?
だって姫様と王子様がいたら。
Because whenever there's a princess and a prince,
恋に落ちちゃうって決まってるよ。
they always end up falling in love, right?
だってここは不思議の国じゃないですか。
Well, this is Wonderland, isn't it? Smooth.
不思議の国でお姫様と王子様が出会ったら僕もそれが
I think that's just how
必然だ
things
と思います。
I think that's just how things go when a prince and princess meet in a place like this.
おいら重たいよ。
Am I not too heavy?
鍛えてますから平気です。
I train, so I'm fine. I punch trees, you know.
そうじゃなくて、おいらいろいろと重たい女だから。
No, I
めんど
mean,
くさいよ。
I weigh down on others a lot. Don't you find that annoying?
僕はその真逆で几帳面が過ぎる性格ですので
I'm the opposite. I'm way too meticulous.
案外2つ混ぜたらバランスがいいかもしれないです。
So who knows? Maybe we can strike a good balance, you know?
本当だ。
That's true.
ね
You know. She raised her head, put her hands on my shoulders, and looked deep in my eyes.
え、スズムンとはもうちょっとだけ
I wish that I'd
早く
met you
会えてたらな。
just a little sooner.
そうしたら一番綺麗な私で会えたのに。
Then you could have met me at my purest.
汚れたってすすけたって何も変わらないです。
It doesn't matter whether you're dirty or sullied.
僕だって転んだってすりむいたって僕なんです。
I mean, I've fallen and hurt myself plenty of times before.
そうじゃなくて
Not what I mean.
大好きなスズムンに
What I'm saying is,
一番綺麗な私を捧げたかったな。
I wish I could have offered my purest self up to you, my beloved Suzumoon.
今が一番綺麗です。
You are at your purest right now.
ありがとう。
Thank you. Her nose tickled my own. Oh, they touching noses. And then her lips, soft as an angel's feather, kissed my own. They really were ticklish. Jesus. We soon parted our lips and looked up at me with upturned eyes and flushed cheeks.
一応お姉さんだしリードしなきゃって思って。
I'm still older than you, so I figured I'd take the lead. She jerked her head away as though concealing her embarrassment. That gesture was absolutely adorable.
ちょっと失望した。はしたない女だと思った。
Are you disappointed? Did I come on too strong?
思わないです。
Not at all.
仮にそうだったとしても
And even if you
失
had,
望したりするものか。
why would I have been disappointed?
ありのままの本当の姿を受け入れるのが王子様の役目だって思ってますから。
I believe it's a prince's job to accept the princess for who she really is.
王子様。
Now you're just showing off, Your Highness.
本当
Did you mean it?
本当に
Mean what?
本当に私の本当の姿
That you would accept me?
受け入れてくれる？
Who I truly am?
もちろん
Of course. Paper eating and all. And when I nodded, the tears finally burst free from her eyes. Silver teardrops framed her ear-to-ear grin.
後悔したらぶっ殺すから。
I'll kill you if you ever take back those words.
後悔なんかするもんか。
I never will.
じゃあ絶対だよ。
You'd better mean that.
絶対に受け入れてね。
You better accept me. Got it?
私
I can't
我慢できない。
hold back anymore.
大丈夫？
Are you okay? I could see sweat gathering on her face. Uh-oh, it's like the doll girl. Something wasn't right. It was like she was resisting something. Despite that, she rose slowly from her chair. Was she not feeling well? Or maybe she'd been feeling sick for a while now? She touched her stomach. No, slightly lower. That slight sensation caused her to groan. I was about to tell her she should sit back down. But then she grabbed her skirt. Hey, look, you have a full tea right there. Why don't you go drink that?
絶対に
Don't
目を離さ
look away. Okay? Huh? Minobe gave a strained smile. And then she started pulling her skirt up little by little. Her knees were exposed. Oh! Followed by her pristine thighs. Oh! However, she kept rolling it up like a stage curtain. She even exposed her. And finally, she exposed herself all the way up to her navel.
何を？
What are you doing? She grinned again, still holding up her skirt. Of course, her face was still clammy. She then reached for the silver knife by the pancakes.
我慢できない
I can't hold back.
どうしちゃったんですか？
What's going on? Her eyes were glazed, her cheeks flushed, and her breath sweet. I stood frozen as though under her spell. A moment later, she took the knife and caressed her abdomen with it. I hope it's a butter knife. The contrast between her sweaty skin and the silver knife was beautiful beyond compare. And all of a sudden, the white tablecloth was painted with red splash. Minobe had plunged the knife right into her abdomen. Oh, we didn't get slashed.
何を？
What do you think you're... It should have hurt, yet she only endured it with a strained smile, gesturing for me to stop. She dug the blade in even deeper until she finally reached something. And then I heard a ripping sound. With that, something gushed out, but it wasn't blood. Rather, it was a milky white mucus mixed with blood. It splashed out in dollops. Dollops of daisy. Yet she paid it no heed, even as it dripped down and stuck to her legs. Eventually, it stopped pouring out. She gripped the blade and twisted around inside her. Oh, those noises. She cut a horizontal line across her body, as though slitting her own stomach all the way open. My heart was screaming at me to stop her. I was merely stupefied. It wouldn't have been so much easier if I were to faint at that very moment. But all I could do was stare, transfixed, as though paralyzed in a snake's gaze. She cleaved across her abdomen as though performing a C-section. Oddly enough, no more of that blood and mucus was spilling out. She opened a vast, gaping hole in her stomach. Afterwards, she checked it with her fingers and dropped the knife. I don't think it was a butter knife. It fell to the floor with a clang. The sound failed to bring her back to her senses, and the horror before me continued. I could never have imagined this. The sound signaled the start of something even more repulsive.
これくらいでいいかな。
Is this good enough? She stuck her thumbs into the gaping wound. And then there was a tearing sound followed by wet noises. With a slip, like she was taking off a tight pair of pants, she stripped off her lower half.
スズメンに会いたかったな。
I wish I'd met you.
人間のうちに
And I was still human. Once she finished removing the skin on her human's legs, I was greeted with 2 rows of countless other appendages. She's a caterpillar! They wriggled around on her bottom half, covered in repulsive, dark red spots like a caterpillar's. Though she was still the same girl in a dress on the top, her bottom was that of a massive, horrifying caterpillar. Oh god, it's that thing again. What's more, a part of it was sticking out like a giant needle. Its tip shook, dripping forth what looked like blood and mucus. I froze the moment I realized it was pointing right at me.
もうダメ。
I can't fight it back any longer.
スズメのこと
Just love you
好きすぎて。
too much.
はい。
Huh? Huh? Family. The caterpillar, human slithered my way and looked down as if it was about to crush me.
スズメのこと家族に迎えたい。
I want to welcome you into the family. He brought the sharp protrusion closer and closer to my chest. My mind had gone blank long ago. If I were to laugh, would all this just turn out to be one big practical joke? Ha 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 ha. No, that thought helped me force an awkward smile into my stunned face.
先輩
Minobe?
僕よくわからないです
I don't understand. What's going on here? It took everything I had just to stand up and stare her away, let alone ask her that. But neither my face nor words can conceal the revulsion I felt. She must have felt hurt and angered.
だよね。
I knew it.
こんな汚らわしい姿受け入れられないよね。
I knew you could never accept this tainted body.
でもね、私だってもう自分で自分が
I can't answer you
わけがわからないんだ。
because I don't know what's happening to me either.
迎えたいの。家 に
I want to welcome you to the family.
スズムンを芋虫ランドに迎えたい。
To Caterpillar Land.
全身にびっしり。
I want to cover you from head to toe.
私と同じ。毒々芋虫まだらん模様。
The same lurid caterpillar spots as me.
スズムンとお揃いの毒々まだら模様したい。
So that the two of us can be a pair. I saw the tip of her tube oozing mucus tinged with a repulsive hue, and let out the shrillest scream of my life. Yeah, there you go. I fell on all fours and started crawling away as fast as I could. I had to get out of there. If I didn't and that thing got me, I'd... So this really was a bad dream. Yes, it was all a dream. Hadn't I already known that from the start?
逃げられないよ。だってここは私の不思議の国。
You can't escape. This is my wonderland.
もうスズムンは私のものなんだよ。
Just give it up. You're already mine. Minobe laughed at my sad state as I pathetically clawed at the door. She threw her head back, took a deep, deep breath, and filled her cheeks. Ugh! I screamed again when I felt long hair spray across me. No, it wasn't hair. It was like white floss. I understood. This was silk. Caterpillar silk. Minobe was shooting thin yet solid silk threads at me, trying to wrap me up like a cocoon. I couldn't break it no matter how much I struggled. I felt my body being constricted by the silk as I tried to resist.
怯えなくていいよ、スズムン。
You don't have to be scared, Seaweed.
まあでも無理な話だよね。
Though, I guess I'd be asking the impossible.
先輩は何がしたいんですか？
What do you want, Minobe?
スズムンにブルブルビクビクうずいて綺麗な毒々模様が浮き出す。コブ。
I want to take all these twitching lumps with these beautiful red spots
スズムンの全身にくまなく全部に
and cover your entire body with them.
スズムンの綺麗なところにも汚いところにも恥ずかしいところにも全部
Right where you're beautiful, but you're soiled, and even the places you're embarrassed to show.
そんなもので全身を刺されたら死んじゃいます。
We'll die if you stab me that much.
結構痛いからね。
Yeah, it hurts real bad.
でも下手に抵抗するとその方がかえって痛いよ。おとなしくしてた方がいいかな。
But it gets even worse if you try to fight back. So you should just sit back and let it happen.
でもね、進む。
Don't get me wrong, though.
私は誰が家族でもいいわけじゃないの。
I wouldn't want just anyone in my family.
そういうクズもいるだろうとは思うよ。家族が増やせれば誰でもいいっていうクズも。
I'm sure there's a scum that would, though. Trash will take anyone just to make their family bigger.
でも私はこれがとても神聖なちぎりにきっと違いないと思ってるから。
But in my case, I see it as something absolutely sacred, like a vow.
大好きなス スム以外の誰も考えなかったんだよ。
You couldn't think of anyone but you, my beloved Suzumoon. Taken at a face value, her words were a beautiful confession of love that no one should be honored. That one should be beyond honored to receive. But who would believe a declaration like that when it was coming from a giant caterpillar binding you with silk?
スズムのこと初めて見た時から胸の中がうついてた。
You know, my heart's been aching for you ever since I first saw you.
私は一目惚れなんて少女漫画の中のことだけだと思ってたけれど、
I used to believe love at first sight was only in fairy tales.
あるんだね。本当に
But look at that. It really does exist.
君を見て私はずっとずっと恋に胸が苦しい夜を過ごしたんだよ。
After I met you, these feelings for you tormented me night after night after night.
僕を一目惚れしてくれたのは
I'm
すごく
very
嬉しいです。
I'm very happy that you fell for me at first sight.
僕も先輩と話していて楽しかったし、一緒に過ごしてもっと一緒にいたいと思ったりもしました。
I enjoy talking to you. I always wanted to spend more time with you.
でもだからこそ相手の嫌がることなんてできないんじゃないですか。
But that's why I would never want to hurt you. Don't you feel the same way?
こういう感情ってやっぱりけだものに通じるから重欲って言うんだろうね。
This feeling. So this is carnal instinct?
大好きなスズムンだからこそスズムンの嫌がることなんてしたくないって気持ちもちろんあるよ。
I love you, so naturally, a part of me would never do anything you didn't want.
じゃあ
Then,
でもね、そんなの関係なく大好きなスズムンを無理やり毒々芋虫にしてやりたいって。
but another part of me doesn't care and is dying to turn you into a noxious caterpillar, no matter what you say.
そういう気持ちも抑えられないくらいに湧いてくるの。変だよね。変だと思う。
And that's the part raging too hard for me to hold back. Strange, isn't it? I think so too.
全身に管を突き立てられていかにブリブリと気持ち悪いコブを作られるのって
Getting stabbed with this thing
辛いこと。
from head to toe, having these gross lumps swell up right under your skin. It hurts. It really hurts.
それが分かってるはずなのにそれでもなおスズムンの全身を犯したい。
I know that, yet I want to do it anyway.
私の汚らしいドロドロの管でブリブリとスズムンの全身を犯し尽くしたい。
I want to desecrate your body with this filthy, slimy, squirming tube of mine. Just when I thought I was finally getting through to her, her eyes glazed over, making it perfectly clear a sane conversation was far beyond her grasp. Just as she said, she was being controlled by carnal instinct and was completely lacking in reason. Humans were far from perfect. They all had desires that they were powerless to stop. Hunger, thirst, and lust, for starters. There was no way Minobe could be reasoned with when enslaved by such emotions. All she wanted was one thing: to stab me with that tube all over it and desecrate my body with those ghastly caterpillar spots.
スズムンのことが大好きだから。
And I love you so much.
無理やりだけど無理やりじゃないの。
So I'm forcing you. I'm also not.
スズムンの覚悟が終わるまで待 っててあげる
I'll wait until you're ready for this. She caressed my face with a bewitching smile, then stroked my body from head to toe with that slimy protrusion. All of a sudden, everything shook with a rumble. The teaspoons rang on the table. Minobe's face froze, and she looked around in confusion. There it was again, another rumble. It was stronger than the last one. Some dust fell from the ceiling. Minobe's face darkened.
何事ですか?
What's happening?
静かに
Quiet. Minobe pressed a finger to my lips and slithered to the door. She opened the door and went outside. That was the perfect chance to escape. But I couldn't break free of the silk no matter how hard I tried. However, I could still roll in it. I had to hide somewhere until Minobe came to her senses. I rolled around, crawled like a caterpillar myself, aiming for the door. Go under the table. They'll never find you. And there were several loud thumps, followed by the ground shaking. I could tell whatever was causing the shaking wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was the sound of a new terror, far beyond the likes of Minobe. Those tremors felt like a giant's footsteps. Just when I was a hair's breadth away from the exit, Minobe came back. She lifted me up and tossed me on the floor. Dang.
ごめんねスズム少しおとなしくしてて
Sorry, Suzumoon. Hold still for a bit.
あんな化け物どこから
Jeez, where'd that monster come from? Her face was stricken with worry. Minobe was more than enough of a monster herself at this point, yet here she was calling something else a monster. I couldn't doubt it any longer. These tremors were the sounds of a massive creature stomping around. Minobe locked the door, but that wouldn't do any good against something so gargantuan. She threw her head back, took another deep breath, and started spewing silk threads once again. She used it to block the door like a spider web. But that was enough for her. She started creeping around the whole room. Before long, the whole room was covered in silk. As she did, the monsters outside finally reached the door. Monster. I might have said monsters. The entire room shook with a shockwave, unlike any before. But Minobe's threads were sturdy. The door didn't break, no matter how much the door rumbled or how much dust fell from the ceiling.
スズムは私のものスズムは私のもの
Suzumoon is mine. Suzumoon is mine. Minobe repeated that like a mantra. She kept circling the room, covering with even more silk. Eventually, all I could see was silk. It was like a blizzard had passed through the room. But Minobe just kept on going. She continued circling around until she eventually started creeping across the walls and ceilings, just going doo 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 doo. Everything turned into a pure white womb made of silk.
誰にも邪魔はさせない邪魔はさせないよ
I won't let anyone get in my way. I won't let anyone get in my way.
スズムは私のもの私のものなんだから
Mine. Suzumo's mine. Just then, the fiercest tremor yet struck, knocking Minobe off the ceiling. And then I saw it. The sky. No, the ceiling. Being torn and wrenched open by a massive black claws. The ceiling was torn off. Splinters fell everywhere. With that, a gaping wide hole to the sky was revealed. Oh. Hey there. A little happy face. A giant shadow stood against the purple sky, looking down on us. The monster was as big as a skyscraper. Disheveled, black hair hung from its head like a willow tree, framed by two bent branches. Oh. Its razor-sharp claws lunged for me. Minobe knocked me aside and charged at the giant black arms.
スズムは渡さない渡さない
I won't let you have Suzumoon. He's mine. Though she was giant caterpillar, Minobe was still the same size as a human. She wasn't even as tall as the monster's fist. It was clear he was at the disadvantage here.
この
Damn you! Damn you! The monster let an earth-shattering howl and a moan. Minobe must have stabbed it with her tube. But all that did was anger the giant. Oh. It swiftly grabbed Minobe and wrapped its gargantuan hands around her. The monster carried her up into the sky as though she was just a doll. Why, you? Let me go! I could hear Minobe's voice high in the pitch-black sky. Before long, agony started seeping into her cries. Ugh. All of a sudden, her shouts vanished right at the sound of a branch snapping rang out. And with that, something came dripping down from up above. Her crushed entrails, followed by Minobe's arms, torso, and head. It crashed right into the floor and rolled toward me. And though she'd been reduced to solely a head, Minobe was still conscious.
Senpai.
Minobe? I love you. A single tear leaked from Minobe's eye, and with that, her life came to an end. Suddenly, a thumb as thick as a log came down and squished her head flat like a quail egg. The giant hand picked me up next, take me up to the sky. I felt like I was going up the first hill of a particularly tall roller coaster. Though I was scared on my mind, I couldn't help but laugh my heart out. And when I reached the top of the sky, I saw the moon. The last moon I'd ever see. The last I'd ever saw in Wonderland. I think we're okay now. I woke up to find myself sweaty and staring at the ceiling, my body contorted into an odd position. I felt like I just had the worst nightmare of my life, one that defied any explanation. The details had been so clear just moments earlier. And with every blink and wipe of my forehead, they faded further and further away. I took another look at the ceiling. It was the same wooden ceiling I'd recently gotten used to. I got the impression that I couldn't calm down unless I'd made sure of that. Ooh. Minobe had said dreams could be another reality, didn't she? What I felt was dissonance from that reality not connecting to this one. But something like that couldn't possibly exist. It was a dream, and this is reality. I took a deep breath to calm down. I must have had that bizarre dream because I was conscious of the fact Minobe was sleeping over next door. That had to be it. The dream I'd only just been having. Minobe's arms, torso, and head all crushed and ripped to pieces. Yeah, by that thing, we went whoop. The dream connected to reality. The moonlight seeped into my room. Turn this back on. The moonlight seeped in my room, revealing liberals, splashes of blood painted all over, scattered chunks of meat littered around. Among them including squashed arms, a severed torso, and just like in that dream, Minobe's crushed head lying right next to my pillow. I screamed at the top of my lungs and burst down my room. I couldn't resist the fear engraved in my cells, shouting at me to flee from the scene of her death. It was only when I got outside that I realized I had to call for help. Someone, anybody. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. Though I was panicking, another part of me calmly assessed that I would be the prime suspect here. I mean, yeah, there's a bunch of blood all over your room. I don't know what happened. I had nothing to do with it. I couldn't have killed her. After all, Minobe was in Kiko's room. There's no way she could have been in mine. Yeah. Then how was I so sure that the mutilated corpse strewn across my room was Minobe's? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It couldn't be me. I mean, there wasn't even a drop of blood on my hands. All that could wait. I had to call the police. Kiko, wake up! I pounded on the door to apartment 201. My phone was in my room, but I'd be damned if I ever went back there. Perhaps because I've been hitting it too hard. The door fell off its hinges. Nice. Just as I'd begun worrying I'd broken it, the door fell into a pitch black darkness. What? I didn't have any idea how, but there it was. Apartment 201 was a black space with nothing inside it. There was no sound of the door hitting the ground. It was simply swallowed into the bottomless darkness and faded without a noise. Almost like they'd only built the apartment complex's halls and forgotten to build Kiko's apartment. It was only then I noticed what was wrong with the world. I was outside on the second floor of the complex. The complex's doors, windows, walls, floors, and rails were all there. All of them were normal. All of them were there. But everything else was gone. The roads, telephone lines, street lights, houses lining the streets all vanished without a trace. Everything apart from this apartment complex had been painted over with pure darkness. Only the dim shine of the fluorescent lamps illuminated this world. I believed that I returned from the world of nightmares to the real world. Oh, wait, the real world? Just then, I heard footsteps approaching. Someone was heading up the staircase to this floor. That someone was the shadow of a dark girl. A shadow so dark, not even the faint lamplight could illuminate it. A moment later, recognition came to me. A bizarre figure with long black hair and withered branches jutting out of her head. I looked down on me in that nightmare world. Suddenly, something stuck out from within the shadow. It was a small Japanese doll that I'd seen somewhere before. Pale arms were holding out from within the shadow. And with a plop, the doll's tiny head fell off. Its arms and torso broke apart and followed suit, scattering at the shadow's feet. Whoa. With that, the pale hand struck even further out, and a girl emerged from the shadow. I didn't mean that she was the one projecting the shadow. I mean, she literally walked out from within it. I knew her. She stepped toward me, trampling over the scattered doll, and spread her hands out as to embrace me. You are mine. I won't let anyone have you. Both Kurakami and the female shadow spread their arms and engulfed me. So what's doing right now? I don't know if you can hear it, but it is playing the trailer again. If you go to Steam, it'll be... Yeah, you can see how it's changing. You could see what I'm seeing. It's the trailer for the game. It's just replaying it. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this because